What's up guys, welcome back to another video and welcome back to F125, my team career mode. Today we are here for episode 2 for the Chinese Grand Prix, of course this being a sprint race as well. So we're going to get straight into the action then as we look to do anything to our facilities. We're going to go straight to the engineering facility. We've got research and development, of course, and we're looking to research some parts on the aerodynamics as the beam wings have come in off research, so we can develop those in a bit. We've got 2,000 points, so we're going to get some upgrades then for research. We're going to look at the chassis, cable assembly for weight reduction. So then, 800 points left, 2 upgrades done. We might be able to get another one on. We're going to go for another chassis upgrade for weight reduction. So we got 2 chassis research and 1 aerodynamic. So we're now going to see what else we can do. So of course development, as I said, we got 4.7 million to use. So we're going to look at any facility upgrades that we could do as well, of course, just because. The facility upgrades do actually help a lot in this game, well, as they should, but yeah, personnel especially as you go towards the end, as you go through the game, definitely helps more and more, but you can get bottlenecked as well. So we got 1 upgrade, as you can see, we've got 1 development slot open. So an upgrade, say, one of the upgrades for the facilities is that we can get another facility, another one to be made at the same time. So as you can see, we've got 1 rotor speed upgrade going right now. That is not going to be on for this race, I don't think, but the other one won't be either. So we've got no upgrades coming into this race as we look for more facility upgrades for the engineering quality of life improvement for this chassis department. It's easier to improve the morale. Okay, that's good. Yeah, don't mind that. So yeah, we're probably just going to do that upgrade. Only 700,000, so that's fine by me. So we go down to 3.25 million. Of course, we've done some upgrades with both of those. And as you can see, sprint race weekend for tyre allocation, probably just going to go with that. That is a lot. So yeah, and last episode we went with Mark Webber, so we're going to go straight into this race weekend with Richard Verschoor. But as you can see there, it's going to be raining in qualifying and maybe even a bit in the sprint. So this could be a very interesting episode for our first experience in the wet weather in F125. So stick around to see how bad it could possibly go. But then after practice 1, we go straight into sprint qualifying for the sprint race. Of course, a little bit of rain possibly at the end of the sprint. We're going to see, hopefully maximise our position in sprint qualifying.
Welcome along to Shanghai, ladies and gentlemen, where it's Chinese Grand Prix weekend. But before we can race, we need to qualify. And who's going to take that coveted pole position? How will our grid line up? We're about to find out. Welcome to qualifying.
Here we are then for sprint qualifying number 1. We got the medium tyres on, of course, as you have to in sprint qualifying 1 and 2. You have to have the medium tyres. In sprint qualifying number 3, you put the softs on. So we're starting our lap then round the Chinese Grand Prix circuit, going into turn 1. Very long turn 1, but overall we get to P8 first lap we finish in P8, a 1:36.437. As we start our second lap, we've got 40 seconds left. We should be safe in P10. We're going to go for another round just in case. As you can see, everyone's just on their lap coming around the final few corners. As we come around the final corner, we are very much safe, and that's good because we have not improved. We're in P11 and we're through to SQ2. So then, there you go, P11 there. Confirmation of our P11 finish in SQ1. But that doesn't really matter as we are through to SQ2 anyway. So let's see who is out. We got Lawson, Bortoletto, both Alpines and a Haas. So SQ2 time, as you can see back on the mediums, our teammates already out on the circuit. Really not much else to say as we get going on our first flying lap. As we go flying down the main straight, going into the long turn 1, braking, back on the accelerator a bit, just letting the car roll through turn 1. And as we finish our lap, there's a car in front of us, and we finish P3 just behind our teammate Mark Webber, but that is P11 by the end of SQ2. We've got 20 seconds left, so we're going to get the best lap in possible, hopefully, as we come across the line to start our lap. We're in P11, we're going to get the best track possible, most grip. As you can see, we're improving by 3/10. We're in P13 now. Hamilton's above. Antonelli and Leclerc are already out. Hamilton's out as well. And as we come across the line, where are we going to be for our qualifying? P11, we just miss out on Q3 in sprint. So we are out then in P11, the gap just under a tenth of a second to Nico Hulkenberg, so a little bit of improvement we needed to get through to Q3, but it's Mark Webber up in P3 in Q2. We're going to see where he finishes in Q3, but Hamilton, Antonelli and Leclerc all behind us, as well as Lance Stroll. But more importantly, Fernando Alonso as well. So big names out in SQ2 as Mark Webber gets through to SQ3. So now then, it's time for the sprint race. Possibly a hint of a bit of rain at the end, but let's go straight in and find out what it holds for us.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. We're here in the Yangtze River Delta today, home of the 16 corners that make up the Shanghai International Circuit. 54% of this 3.3-mile lap is taken at full throttle, and we'll be getting up to speeds of around 200 miles per hour with DRS assistance down the back straight, before the cars brake into the tight hairpin at turn 14. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Lando Norris lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Piastri, Tsunoda, George Russell and Sainz, Webber, Hulkenberg, Albon and Esteban Ocon. For sure, Fernando Alonso and Sir Lewis Hamilton and Antonelli, Leclerc, Stroll, Isaac Hadjar and Ollie Behrman, Doohan, Gasly, Bortoletto and Liam Lawson rounds off the grid. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out. And alongside me today, former Formula One driver and former world champion too. See, told you I'll give you a big intro. Anthony Davidson, hello. Well, Ant, we love this 11th team on the grid. They've certainly made an impact since they came into the sport. But without one person at the helm, I don't think we'd have seen what we've seen so far. Their team principal really is a character.
And you need these characters in Formula One, Croft. You need them as a driver. You want to have full trust in the person leading your team forward, that your feelings inside the car and about the team are going to be relayed and understood in the right way, and positive changes made.
So then we start from P11 on the grid for the sprint race. Our teammate up in P7. A pretty good result then. So he is starting within the points for the sprint race. We're going to see what he can do from there. So it's either mediums or hards here. And, well, I couldn't make the decision, not going to lie. We're going to go with mediums and hope that they last. But the hards might be a better idea, but we'll see. We'll see. We're going to find out as we go to the formation lap. It looks very overcast here in China. We got Ocon in front of us, alongside us even, and Alonso behind us in P12. Albon in 9th place, directly in front of us in the grid box. So we're going to see, as we go around the track for the formation lap, what the race has in store of us. We're directly in the middle with the middle car in the pack, number 11 out of 22. So we're going to see what we can do here in the sprint race as we park up in the 11th grid spot on the circuit. And as we go towards 5 red lights for the sprint race here in China. All the lights are out and we are underway. Terrible start from Hulkenberg and Albon as we immediately go around them. Ocon also runs into a bit of trouble there As we're on the inside going into turn 1, we let Webber Hulkenberg go back round us because we are too close to the inside of that corner. We're now side by side with Ocon round turn 1 into turn 2. Ocon has the inside line, but are we going to be able to have the power on the exit of the corner? We're still there with Ocon. No, Ocon gets us. We almost spin out of turn number 3, number 2 even, going down into the corner now, braking late, getting past Ocon, under braking, and we are ahead up into P9, 1 place outside of the points for our first sprint race here. We're now looking behind us going down the back straight. Ocon on the attack. We're using battery. We've got the slipstream of Hulkenberg as well, who's now been dropped by Mark Webber. So Mark Webber is away. Ocon sends it back down the inside there as we come towards the end of the straight, and Hulkenberg has significantly pulled away due to that reason. Now Ocon looking for another go down the main straight. Hamilton also there. He's going to be end up side by side with Ocon then instead, and actually going to be looking down the inside of us as well as we go into turn 1 and into turn 2. He's on the outside. Hopefully we can just push him off track a little bit, and we are able to do that. So lap 2, Carlos Sainz is down P7, so Mark Webber doing a very good job. Hamilton gets past us. Don't know about you, but that corner is so difficult to get right or just get the power down. So now we have DRS. We're going to have to use a little bit of battery, as L1 looks to have a go as well. It's almost 3 wide going down into the last few corners, but we get ahead of Hamilton. Sainz and Hulkenberg fighting ahead of us for the points, and now we're with them now with the DRS open going into turn 1. We've caught up to Hulkenberg and Sainz on lap 4. The gap 2 tenths. Hamilton behind us, Albon in P11. So going down into the braking zone once more. Hamilton's down the inside again, and hopefully this time we are able to fight him off. But lap 7 we've been dropped by Hulkenberg, and that gap just increasing due to the fact that I can't get the power down off that corner. Hamilton has DRS, Albon has DRS, and now they're both coming to sandwich us. And going into the last few corners, it's Hamilton and Albon in front of us who are fighting, and we're just sat there watching behind as Hamilton looks to have the move done on Albon. Albon on the inside, yep, he has. We're going to see if we can get a better exit here. No, we can't with DRS open. Lap 9, Leclerc has now passed us, and we've got the tyre wear warning on the right hand side, so it's not looking too good for us anymore as Leclerc has the DRS open. We've got a little bit of battery to use as Ocon's getting closer and closer as well. We're going to use the racing line on the outside, and we're actually going to get round the outside of Leclerc. He left the space open on the outside, and oh my god, his engine's blown up as we get past him. So good timing for us then as we get past Leclerc as his engine blows up on the final few corners. Verstappen wins the sprint race. We're going to finish in P11 where we started. So not a great sprint race, but it's not bad. Not a bad sprint race. Finishing P11 from where we started. So yeah, Hamilton gets driver of the day. Verstappen won the sprint race, and we now wait to see where our teammate finished. We know he finished in the points, but where P5, he gets 4 whole points for the team. That is incredible job by Mark Webber there. An incredible drive from him sees us gain a lot of points on our rivals around us. So we're going to see now how that helps us as we get into the end bit of Q1. As you can see, it's torrential downpour on the wets, and I finish, well, I'm up to P14 with 40 seconds left, but people are still on laps as we keep going round. We're going to go for 2 consecutive laps here, and as we come round, we got back down to P21. We have 1 second of improvement, but that's not going to be enough as the track dried out a bit, and we're actually out in Q1 here in the torrential downpour in China in qualifying for the race. So overall, terrible qualifying from us. Mark Webber up in 6th place in the wet. I just couldn't get the power down without half spinning. So we beat Isaac Hadjar, Lance Stroll, and Antonelli's also out, as well as Yuki Tsunoda in the Red Bull. So looking forwards then to the race, 28 laps ahead of us for the Chinese Grand Prix. All sunshine. Let's get straight into it.
It's time again then for Formula One in Shanghai. Northwest of the thriving city of over 24 million people is a circuit that first featured in the championship calendar back in 2004. It played host to Formula One's 1000th Grand Prix back in 2019. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before we head into the braking zone of turn 14. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Hamilton, Oscar Piastri, and Fernando Alonso, Sainz, Albon, Webber, and Esteban Ocon, Lawson, Hülkenberg, Ollie Behrman, Doohan, Tsunoda, Gasly, Lance Stroll, and Andrea Kimi Antonelli. For sure, Hadjar, Leclerc, and Gabriel Bortoleto rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. And alongside me in the commentary box, my old friend, Anthony Davidson. And let's talk momentum with this driver. What a sprint it was. They start at 0 once again for today, but with a huge amount of confidence, surely. Well, they'll definitely be glad that there's not a sprint race today. Let's face it, the sprint couldn't have gone much worse, but what we're looking for today is a reaction. Now, you're the racing driver in this partnership, so tell us about this racing driver. Put us in their shoes. How are they going to be feeling?
Well, you've got to be prepared, Crofty. Before you even step foot inside the car, you've got to know, you've got to have a pre-race game plan. You've watched videos before you get into the car of previous races gone by. You know where you have to place your car if X, Y, or Z happens in front of you or behind you. So having this clear game plan is absolutely essential before you get in the car.
Here we are then ahead of the Chinese Grand Prix, 28 laps around this circuit. We are in P19 after penalties for Leclerc behind us. So we're looking at a 2 to 1 stop race. We can either go medium hards. We're going to start on the mediums, and then we're going to see what we go from there. The formation lap, we're looking at people around us. Antonelli also on the mediums, Stroll on the hards, Hadjar and Leclerc also on the hards, and as you can see, Bortoleto also back there. So
they're on fresh mediums.
Teammate is up in well, I think he made it to Q3, so hopefully he can score some points today. But we are starting down in P19 ahead of the Chinese Grand Prix. As we go to the end of the formation lap, we are going to come into the grid slots that we need to in the medium tyres. So as we are looking ahead then to the 5 red lights ahead of the Chinese Grand Prix here in F125. It's lights out and away we go. It's an amazing getaway for us. Slow one for Lance Stroll, who was ahead of us, and also Antonelli as we get past both of them going down into turn 1. Tsunoda going slow. We're going to brake early, then go around the outside of Tsunoda, then also look possibly, no, we're still alongside Tsunoda, who's on the right hand side of us going into turn 1. Now turn 2 we get right to left making the apex, but Tsunoda has more pace going around the outside. A little bit of snap from both of us, and Tsunoda gets ahead of us going down into turn 3 now. A little bit of ERS battery usage as Bortoleto on the soft tyres gets up into P19. We send it down the inside of Yuki Tsunoda into the right-hander of 4, and we make it up into P16 out of 22. Here's the restart, here's the start again. Mark Webber in P9, Verstappen on pole position, Norris alongside him, Russell in 3rd, and the lights go out. It's a good start from, well, you can see the Haas back there as well, but good start from Verstappen, who seems to have an amazing launch. Norris not so good, and he is immediately attacked by Russell. Russell and Norris spending the first corner side by side for that long right-hander going into a left-hander, and Russell gets the inside for that corner. Norris trying to hang it around the outside, but I don't think he'll get the move. He will not, and Norris down into P3, lap 4. Verstappen and Russell now fighting for P1. Russell on the outside, of course that'll be the inside for the second corner, and will Verstappen keep first place or not? He seems to have it, but does he now as they get on the power going down the small straight into turn 3, and Verstappen stays ahead in P1. lap 4 then, and we are up into P16, well, still in P16. There's yellow flag ahead, and this is why it's Albon who spins it, and he's in the middle of the racing line, and he reverses away. So that's going to be a free position. There he is on the right hand side as we go through the very tricky left-handers, and we are now up into P15 due to Albon spinning. Here is the full replay then. He's alongside Alonso for P9. He actually gets the move done, so Albon up into P9 momentarily as we go through the long left-hander before the right-hander, where you have to brake a little bit but also keep the car pointed in the right direction. Then left-hander, and this is where he gets on the power too early, spins it, lots of smoke, and then he reverses into the runoff. So there you go then, Albon now down and out of the points. Here's Mark Webber though, on the other hand, getting past the Haas and furthering his position in this race. Lap 4 still, going down into the final few corners. We are looking at the back of Pierre Gasly's car, and we actually get a very good run off the final hairpin there, going towards the final corner, which is very fast, left-hander, and we go right round the outside of Gasly. And then we're actually looking for a move on Lawson with DRS, a little bit of battery usage. We go back into the slipstream, and now going to the right side, starting on the left, going to the right, then end up back on the racing line. Easy move for us. Here's the replay then. We get down we go round the outside of Gasly, and then we just get such a good launch off the corner, as you can see on board with Liam Lawson, now us. We just get past him very easily. Mark Webber though, he is up into P6, and he's looking to further the position as he tries to overtake Lewis Hamilton down the main straights. Mark Webber looking amazing in this car this weekend. Yellow flags behind us. Pierre Gasly is out of the session. That doesn't matter to us though, as we're now in P10, and we're going to pit after our tyres on 71%, as you saw there, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, we're coming into the pits now after 11 laps out of 28, coming into the pit lane now. As I said before, Gasly has retired out of this race. So now as we plummet down the order from P10 down into P21, we put the tyres on, and oh dear, front left, there's a problem getting the tyre on. So we are now onto the hard compound of tyre, and we might go to the end. We're going to see. There you go, there's Gasly's car parked up on the side of the track. But lap 15 now, we are back up into P17 with green sectors going round. There's a yellow flag in front. For what reason? Here's Leclerc going, and he spun. Leclerc spins into the pit lane. He hits the barrier. He's waiting. He's going back out into the track, and oh no! He's been hit by an Aston Martin. Leclerc loses it in the pit lane, comes back out into the middle of the pit lane, and straight into the Aston Martin. He's got a broken front wing. The Aston Martin has a broken front wing, and now it's a virtual safety car for a collision in the pit lane. So what a crazy turn of events this is, as we get, well, a few positions. Leclerc with a 10-second time penalty for that collision. Here's the onboard with Lance Stroll, and yeah, he can't do anything about that. Leclerc just pulls out in front of him, and there is the collision. So virtual safety car ending literally a matter of corners later. So I was hoping to get take care of the tyres a bit, but apparently not. As we get underway immediately then, same laps, lap 16, and we are returning to racing speed. Lap 20 though now, and we are in P9 after others have pitted for the second time. There's a yellow flag around at turn 1. That's Antonelli, who has retired. And as we get overtaken by Yuki Tsunoda, who is on the soft compounded tyre compared to our older hard compounded tyres. But now we're actually going to see if we can get the run on him. We do not, and we're actually going to get the DRS instead. And now lap 22, he has pitted, and we've got Verstappen right behind us, 2 seconds. And at the end of lap 22, Verstappen actually catches us and has overtaken us, and we go into the pit lane, this time for another set of soft compounded tyres, as these hard tyres, I didn't think we were going to get to the end. We had 6-7 laps left on them, and we were on about 40%, so I decided to come into the pits for a set of soft compounded tyres. A lot faster pit stop there this time round as we come out into the racetrack once more. Here we are then, lap 25, and we're going for the move on Carlos Sainz, as you can see. Easy move with DRS down the main straight into turn 1, and lap 25 we also get the move on Esteban Ocon, as there's actually contact there, and we go around into the final corner round the outside, and we actually take his front wing off, my bad, of Ocon there. But lap 28 of 28, Norris triumphs in China as he dominates the race. And as you can see, he celebrates there. Piastri some way behind him, then Russell in P3. That's your podium. We come home in P13 out of 20 overall, then on lap 28.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Here's the checkered flag. The fans rise to their feet. It's Lando Norris for victory.
To overcome the difficult circumstances they face throughout this race today, Crofty, it's not easy, and it really shows a lot of maturity, and you can use this, you can draw on this as a driver moving forward and boost your confidence through the rest of the championship.
And it's time for that special moment for our special three today. The podium awaits our top three finishers. He holds the trophy aloft, and why shouldn't he? A richly deserved win today for Lando Norris.
Incredible race then, full of AI mistakes. Leclerc and Albon spinning 2 retirements out of the race, and we finish in P13 as Richard Vishaw. But Mark Webber, what a drive it was from him. He finishes up in P5 for the race, scoring 14 points for the team this weekend in our second race ever. Of course, I did say we were starting as a midfield team just to, you know, quicken up the process, because, yeah. But next time out, it's going to be the Japanese Grand Prix. As you can see, Mark Webber now on 20 points for this season, as well as our team. That puts us in P5 in the standings, ahead of Haas by a long way. We look like we might be in the fight for P4 at best, hopefully, with our car. So that is the Chinese Grand Prix done. Looking at what we get then, we're going to get 80,000 from our weekend. And our fan rating has gone up a bit for the race weekend overall. So looking forward then, we've got the Japanese Grand Prix in the next episode. So that is all we have time for. If you have enjoyed, make sure to like, share, subscribe for more F125 content. Goodbye.